EA Sports and the United States Golf Association are proud to present a national championship. Today, it's live second round coverage of the U.S. Open Championship. It is one of the most difficult golf courses in the United States. Oakmont Country Club outside Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo, who was a part of that dramatic U.S. Open in 1994 at Oakmont, ultimately won by Ernie Els. Frank, when you think of Oakmont, what comes to mind?
The difficulty of the golf course, Rich. I know a lot's changed over the last 20 or so years. A lot of the trees have been removed. But really, that wasn't the story of Oakmont. It's the slick greens, how firm and fast they can be. The members there, for example, they marvel at the fact that people think they're fast. They say we putt on these greens every single day and they're certainly no slower. But it's the bunkering as well. There's 210 bunkers here. They're all in play. And it just has that history. When you step on Oakmont, you just know you are walking on not one of the great courses in North America, but one of the great courses in golf. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Frank, this ball's in the rough. You like to hinge just a little bit quicker on the takeaway when the ball is down like this?
No, when it's down, you've just got to make sure that you wind up almost like you're hitting a tee shot. This is not one to be dallied with. You've got to hit it powerfully, and you really have to focus on that club getting through the grass, past the ball, and out the other side.
And Frank, that steady play continues.
Rock solid. Excellent approach shot.
Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. Frank, you well know the U.S. Open is a thinking man's game, and this is a good example here, this short par 4 second hole.
It certainly is, Rich. It's not about length. It's not even about accuracy. It's about trying to pick the right shot, and the right shot is somehow finding that fairway between the left as it creeps in and the 6 bunkers on the right. Game's about rhythm. When you have good rhythm, it just looks effortless. To hit the ball 300 yards through the air, that easy. Rich, it's a tough second shot here at the second. Somehow you've got to find a little flat piece on the green to land that second shot. As you and I both know, the severity of this green means anything long and you've almost got an impossible bunker shot or pitch. But somehow, on a flat spot and underneath the hole is the goal. This one just inside 30 feet. Certainly you wouldn't call that close.
On the computer, it registers at 29 feet.
Had every chance of going in.
Not a gimme, but well within his range.
Well, for such a strong man, weak putt.
Now I'll have to make this just to avoid making Michael Dublé. Frank, it has been that kind of a tournament. Another bogey. Frank, this hole, the third at 428 yards, has been a part of the U.S. Open story for a long time, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, it's just a great par four. It's a typical U.S. Open par four that challenges in between the ears as well as the swing and the execution itself. The second shot, slightly uphill. You really got to break this green into two sections. That ridge in the middle, anything past that, everything funnels off and towards the back of this green. Anything short of that, well, it actually goes towards the front side. So very difficult from tee all the way through to the green.
So the second of the par four goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here.
Pretty good shot right there. Little redemption chance here. Had bogey yesterday. Wow, I thought he made that. That's costly right there.
Painful.
This hole is playing tough. Bogey here yesterday. Now looking at bogey again. He's going to beat himself up on the way to the next tee. You don't miss those putts. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. No doubt would love to have this one back. That's a double bogey, 2 drop shots. Now to the par 5 fourth. It is 609 yards. Frank, this has been pivotal in past U.S. Opens.
Yeah, it certainly has. A good drive here, there's a chance to go for the par 5 and 2. A bad drive here, finding the church pews or the bunkers on the right. More often than not, you're pitching out sideways. Totally different proposition. Well, that's it. New member of the 300-yard club.
Good poke right there. Okay, the second shot now at this par 5. On the green, short, but plenty of real estate between the ball and the hole. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
This one has good line.
Finally, something happens that's good.
That's a nice shot right there. It's a nice little hole, Frank. 382 yards, par 4, fifth here at Oakmont.
You can't really hit a driver or a 3-wood down here. You're going to run out of fairway. Plus, there's no real advantage. Hole starts to shrink up here. Just got to play it as a 2-shotter. But it's easy just to blaze away with an iron. If you can hit an iron at a US Open off a par 4 tee, you better hit it in the fairway. Errant tee shot here, Rich, but going to have to muscle this one out of the rough.
Second shot coming out of the rough here.
I mean, this skill and that was sublime.
Just good hands coming out of the rough, able to manage the distance, and now in great position. So close.
And yet it still counts for another shot.
This one just requires a little bit of focus. Good effort, good par putt. Our featured golfer is already 5 holes in. Let's take you out now to the 6th. Playing very poorly early in the second round, Frank. What can a player do to turn it around?
Completely forget what they've been doing, that's for sure. There's a lot of bad golf. That scorecard is a reflection of exactly what's been happening. So somehow there's going to have to be a change. There's going to have to be a change right now. Rhythm, fairways, greens. Give yourself opportunities.
Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
And he's made the green. That's how you keep a round going. Make them from that distance. U.S. Open continuing here at the par 4 7th at Oakmont. It's 434 yards. Frank, did you hear the sound of that coming off the club face?
It was like a cannon.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball, and this shot, he is on the fairway, over 300 yards. Frank, looks like he came over just a little bit.
Yeah, that one wasn't pretty, but it's still gonna get away with it.
Good, clean contact and a nice result, and a chance for birdie coming up. That was a good-looking putt, just not falling right now.
Sadly, he's going to be disappointed.
Different day, different hole. Made bogey yesterday. He'll do better this time, it looks like. Drops for a par. U.S. Opens, Frank, as you well know, you've played in so many of them, are supposed to be demanding and tough. This is what a U.S. Open's all about. A par 3 at nearly 300 yards. That's the 8th at Oakmont.
It's not just the length, too, but this is a typical Oakmont green, which means it's not easy. There is an option, though, if you can't reach this green, or at least fly it on, you might get a lucky bounce to kick forward. You'll see a lot of people chipping from around the front edge of this green, and there's no shame in that.
Good swing, good shot yet again. Not terrible, but not his best.
Outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
Yeah, that's a good putt right there. From that distance, he'll settle. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Frank, that's a par, and onward we go. And now to the 9th, and in case a player has forgotten somehow that he's at a U.S. Open, the 9th will remind him very quickly that this is the national championship. This is demanding. Wow, that is a monster drive down there, about 315 yards. He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. speed wasn't bad on that long putt, but the read wasn't very good. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Frank, this has been an absolute mess today and all week long.
You said it best.
Take a look now at the 10th hole, Frank. Par 4, 462 yards.
Yeah, this one can play a lot of different distances. And the reason why is if you can sneak a driver to catch the downslope, it can run all the way down. You can have just a wedge in it. If you're not as fortunate and you leave it hanging up on that hill, it plays a good 200 yards for your second.
Oh, it looked like he caught a flyer right there, Frank.
Well, I don't know what he caught, but this is way too much.
Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot, maybe get away here with par.
Putting all of his talents on display here from the rough, and he knocks it really close. Beautiful shot. A good effort, a good par putt. Par 4 11th is 379 yards as we continue backside here at the U.S. Open at Oakmont. Frank, what's the strategy off the tee here?
You're hitting something that goes about 240, 250 yards maximum, hopefully keeping it out of that right rough. And the reason why that right rough is certainly to be avoided is that big gaping bunker at the front of the screen. Green's perched up a little bit, so this is another one where if you can hit an iron or a utility club off the tee, you must find the fairway.
Wayward from the tee, and this one is headed for the rough, Frank. On the green in regulation. Birdie here yesterday, trying to do it again today. You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. So a tester from 4 feet. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Now at the par 5 12th, 667 yards. Frank, you've played golf around the world at the very highest level. I've heard you say you think this is one of the hardest par 5s on the planet. Why?
The slope of the fairway, you don't get a flat lie anywhere along that, and the green slopes away from you. So really there's no easy out. This is the only par 5 I've ever seen where the best players in the world would take a 5.
That's an absolute tracer right there. In the fairway and well over 320 yards.
And this is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. And it looks like it's in the rough there, Frank.
It might not be as bad as it looks.
Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in. And as he strides up here to the 12th green, having hit it in regulation, he knows now that his work is by no means done. A long putt coming up. Looks like he just misread that. Didn't fare too well on this hole yesterday. Made a bogey. That's how you maintain momentum. You make those putts for par. All right, Frank, at the par 3 13th at 183 yards, what do you see here?
Well, there's a lot of things to consider, but the general slope of this green really makes you either hit to a specific section on the green or just try and keep the ball below the hole. It's always easy to putt uphill on fast greens.
With that ball nestled down just a bit in that heavy rough.
It was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back? That's a big green. Just managed to get it smack bang in the middle of it.
Settles in over the putt. That's about as depressing a moment as there is in golf. When you miss the bogey putt, you know you're staring at double. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Frank, how do you explain what we saw here?
It's a mess. It's probably the easiest way to put it. This is a case of anything that could go wrong. Not just probably, it did.
Headed for the bunker, I think. Well, not this time. That one's in the rough. Might be a tough shot coming up. Frank, this ball's in the rough. Anything you change in your technique when a ball's sitting down a little bit?
Yeah, you put the ball back a little bit further in your stance because you're going to get a bit of grass between the ball and the club face. So you have to allow for that. And keep that club moving. That grass is going to be that grass is going to create a certain amount of resistance.
Now this for birdie. Came away with a bogey on the previous round. I thought that was in.
Yeah, it looked good. I mean, line, pace. It's hard to be critical of that.
This from 7 feet. So close, just a tap in from there. Bogey here yesterday, chance to better that today. Simple, solid, and he'll take it.
But one that you need to make.
Well, this is a good U.S. Open par for it. 499 yards. The 15th is one of the better holes in the course, Frank.
It is. The shape of the tee shot you think would suit a cut, but because the fairway slopes quite severely to the right, really it needs a draw just to work its way against that slope and somehow keep it on the straight and narrow.
Frank made this hole just a little bit harder hitting it into the rough.
I would say a lot harder.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. That's a bit offline in the rough. Frank, here we go again. Another shot from the rough.
Yeah, let's see if he learned his lesson.
Oh, no, look out, Frank. I think he flushed that one.
Oh, this is going, gone.
Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
Yeah, you wonder what he was thinking on that.
Been this way all day. Airtight, no mistakes, solid shot.
And yet another green in regulation.
Well, you could see he's just disgusted with that effort. Boy, the train went off the tracks here on this hole. This is for double bogey.
Oh, good roll, good putt.
On to 16 now, a 231-yard par 3. Really good distance control there, playing well to his strengths. Made par yesterday, this one for birdie. Frank, we haven't seen a whole lot of that, but no doubt it feels good. Coming down to the wire here at the U.S. Open Championship at fabled Oakmont, and the tension starting to build. And Frank, this is decision time at this very short 313-yard par 4.
And normally in a U.S. Open, Rich, you'd think the prudent play would be lay it up, but I kind of like driver here today. I think the worst you're going to do is just miss the green or hit it in one of those pop bunkers. You perhaps could drive it on the green, be putting for eagle, but even out of one of those bunkers, you got to think you're even money to get it up and down. I like driver here.
He'll need to be strong with this. Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on there. Easy birdie.
Different day, different hole. Made bogey yesterday. He'll do better this time, it looks like. And at last, he has made a birdie.
And what can he do from here, though? Is that the start of something? It looks like it is.
It has come down to this. The 18th hole at the U.S. Open Championship at one of the storied venues in the sport, Oakmont Country Club. The 18th hole, Frank, well, you make par here, and you win the U.S. Open, you've earned it.
We've seen some good tee shots today, Rich. This will be the toughest one. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Into the tall cabbage, that ball is swallowed up. Frank, you always talk about it not compounding the error, but here again, another shot from the rough.
Yeah, if you try again.
Frank, it's not about getting the ball close to the hole. From that spot,
well, he had no chance to get it close. I thought he had very, very, very little chance of getting it on the green. So given that, that was a very good shot.
Ooh, that hurts. So a tough way to close the round, missing a short putt and a bogey here at 18. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Just broke away at the last second. Just a sloppy hole, no other way to say it, and it results in a double bogey. Frank, too many missed shots and now a missed cut.
Yes, it's disappointing, but the experience gained from playing this course really will be invaluable. Now's the time, just pick your head up and move forward. There's always another week.